Okay, folks, now we will go over the second bit there of the first section. Now, this is an interesting measure that begins this section because there is the first time where there's a rest. There's an eighth note rest at the end of the measure, a little breath. 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and a 3. You don't hit anything on. You get ready for your next bit on B flat. Now, can you see my hand? That's just a bar, like your A chord, up to where E flat would be. And you just do, you know, I'm sorry, is that right? Yeah. And that goes into the next bit in B flat. Pretty easy right now. Watch. Can you see my hands? 1 and 2 and 3, and your pointer finger remains on that note there, 8th fret, 5th string, the note F, to begin an arpeggio on F major. It is divided into two. This measure is divided into two parts, I say. Now, this is an interesting thing musically. The first one goes up. We go up to this high note on C and come down. And now this is a tricky bit. This is a leap from here at your 10th fret up to the C on the 15th fret of the 5th string. 1 and 2 and 3 and I just played the next note. All right. We'll leave it there, I know, and into the next measure. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and now, again, just you should be able to, like, you know, I've done this a number of times. You should be able to see the fingers. I'm using my ring there. I could use my pinky. It's important to start the C arpeggio with your middle finger with that shape of a major third. You know that shape from a G chord, from the C chord, from an E chord. You know, it's in every major chord. It's in every minor chord. There are major thirds and minor chords. But you already knew that, didn't you? All right. So here is the deal. You got to know these little shapes. They'll help you to learn something like this much more efficiently. Now, do you see how easy that really is to play? After I do the initial the first beat, 1 and 2 and 3 and it's just another bar chord, and then I hit the G on the top. 1 3 5 1 3 5. Again, that same sequence. So from F, and yeah, you can hear it want to, you know, especially if you know the song, you can hear it want to extend. That B flat, in fact, functions as a part of a G minor chord, more or less. Now that is a tricky part to finger correctly. You can do the beginning of it like an E flat arpeggio. This little shape like a D chord, do you see that? Whoops. Just, instead of being a D, I'm at E flat, right? But now you need to use your ring finger, bar it down, lift it up, bar it down, flat, and then when you hit the last note of the measure on the, whatever it is, the 17th fret of the 5th string, you turn it up, you arch your finger as it normally ought to be, and you do an arpeggio for B flat, just running up the same basic slew of notes. You know, that's an important technique that you need to have, is turning a bar shape into, you know, into not being one. So you're not blocking the note on the string above you. And we end on C again. So that little that section, the last 4 bars of this section, beginning with a G minor-esque arpeggio going down, B flat going up, C. So what that I played more than 6 notes, didn't I? Well, that's the last measure is just 1 note of this little section here, okay? 1 5 3 1 5 3 1. Okay, the whole section now. Ready? From E flat. 1 2 3. Okay, that's gotten us through the whole first section, as we might call it. There are other words we could use. I will play the whole first. Now, on to section 2. Again, I would invite you to see the certain patterns or shapes, maybe you could call it. I see it as line, as direction, and in this case, it's very rare, I might add, that tablature. This is not real musical notation. Okay, this is just the cheap way of doing it. It's very rare that tablature really can point out the contour of a melody and the contour of a line as clearly as it does in this song. See how it goes up, and then it comes down, and then it goes up, and then it comes down, and then it goes up, and then it goes down, and then it goes up, and then down, that kind of thing. You can, I think, analyzing contour, ultimately analyzing direction in any good melody or any kind of soloists kind of thing, you know, like you're analyzing a guitar solo or something like that. It's the most important thing in music, aside from rhythm. The most elemental force in music is direction. And there are, in case you hadn't thought of this already, there are only, 3 things you can do. You can go up, you can go down, you can stay in the same place, you can play the same note again and again, or you can play nothing. Does nothing count? I don't know. Maybe there's 4 things you can do. If you count nothing. Can you do nothing? Let's look at the second section now. The same arpeggio as in the first bit. Woo! You know how to play that now, right? Pointer, ring, goes to C major coming down. So that begins identically to the first bit. Here's where we'll start to change, right after this. Notice how that time I did play the C on the first string as opposed to there. There's a reason. We're about to go into a B flat arpeggio going down. Same shape as the C chord, okay? That will, when you understand how arpeggios, how chords are built, that will be the easy part of doing this, okay? Sloppy. So, the first 4 bars. The first 2 measures and the second 2 measures are like a carbon copy, except for that in the first, you know, one is a minor chord and one isn't. All right. So the 5th measure of this section, bar 21, is an E flat chord. You begin the same way. Measure 1 3 5 1 3 5. Ta-da! Actually, here we do play that note there, and that, you know, that looks. Maybe that's the right way to do it, you know? I haven't actually really thought very much about how to play this. I just do what comes naturally. But I will tell you, this is the best way, in my opinion now, to do it. Do you see what I did? Start with my middle, pointer, slide up a minor 3rd. Now you're on the 5th degree of the scale. Like I said, know your arpeggios. Major arpeggio. What is that? How is that constructed? It's always going to be a root. Note number 1. It can be any note. Then a 3rd above that, but it's a major 3rd if it's a major chord. On the same string, do, re, mi. I'm sorry, do, re, mi. I'm watching myself now on the thing. Here it's a staggered back a fret, okay? From there, it's a minor third to get to degree number 5. All right, so again, what are we? Middle, pointer, 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 pinky. Okay. It's pretty neat, right? That's the first real. There hasn't been any additional coloration of these chords. They've been just straight arpeggios. You're not throwing in any weird notes. Now, this isn't a really weird note per se, but the over C minor, you're playing an A. First of all, it creates, with an A natural, it creates a little bit of a diminished sound, right? C, E flat, and A. That's kind of cool. What would that diminished chord be a function of? Oh, it tonicizes the 1, doesn't it? It tonicizes G minor. But you would view it, a diminished chord on C, as being almost in this case an extension of a D7 chord. If you don't understand that, write me a letter. Okay, we don't have time for that right now. Okay, here's the thing. Right here. Do you see how I did that? It's pretty easy. And this part is not easy at all. Those are 2 bars. I didn't mean to do it so quickly. Okay, so from C minor. The easiest way to play this arpeggio on D, I will show you this, would be from your regular D major box. Strings 4, 3, 2, and 1. Like an F chord. If I did it that way, it'd be 1, 3, 5, 3, 1, 5. That's the whole measure. How did I do that? From my pinky finger on the 3rd degree above D. Right there. You got to be able to do stuff like this. Okay, so from 3, 1, 5. 5 is the note A in a D chord. 3, 1, 5. This should be a shape that you already know from your. Again, the best advice I would have for anybody who actually is watching this to learn something or be able to play something like this is that you study your arpeggios, and I can show you some. I mean, there's great examples in this music of things that you could practice. Get familiar with these shapes, understand how they're built, why they're built that way, that kind of thing. Understand the music. Now here I will play you through these 8 bars up to speed, hopefully. Okay, so. Right? Slower, right? 1 and 2. F, B flat, E flat, C minor, D major. That is it's not a rest, it's a quarter note relative to all these 8th notes we've been used to hearing. So that passage is